Well, hey YouTube, it's Chuck. Good morning. Well, I'm gonna just take you along with me today. I've got a few errands to run here in the apiary, and I figured I would just keep the camera rolling, fast forward through the stuff where I'm not doing much, but let you just kind of watch what's going on today. The first thing I have to do is I have to take bee samples from Hive 1, 2, and 3. I think I might have mentioned it on a previous video, but I'm part of the Master Beekeeper program here in the state of Florida, and I'm also helping the University of Florida with a study that one of the graduate students is doing this year. And in order to support that, we're doing bee collections the first 2 weeks of the month, and I put them in cups and I seal them and I FedEx them to the University of Florida. So this is just part of good research, providing bees from all different parts of the state. There's probably several dozen of us across the state that are providing bees to this graduate student study. And I'm just doing my part. This is voluntary. It's just part of supporting and also just being part of research in the state. And hopefully I also get some good details on my bees if everything checks out okay. Okay, so just got the smoker lit, and the process of collecting these bees is very, very straightforward. Essentially, they want adult bees, not nurse bees. Nurse bees are typically in the brood frames. They want adult bees, which are typically on the food frames or hanging outside in the afternoon. Obviously, being careful not to get the queen is important. So I typically like to do an inspection, find the queen, set her aside, and then grab the bees. And what we put them in, I've just got these sample cups here. They're labeled Hive 1, 2, and 3. And the University of Florida provided me with everything I needed to do this study. And essentially, we're euthanizing the bees in ethanol. And I drain the ethanol off before I ship it, but this is essentially the euthanization part. They only need like 150 bees, which is a little less than the actual number you use for a mite count. But one of the cool things about getting me in the hives, and honestly getting in the hives during a honey flow, is something I'm always a little bit lazy on, is that I also get the opportunity to do a mite check. Mite checks are, of course, very important, and I might be a little bit behind because sometimes you let your bees go a little bit far during the honey flow, and I'm hoping I haven't let my bees go too far. But I'm just going to go ahead and get my mite check jars ready, and it looks like I might be out of alcohol, so we'll be switching probably to soap after this alcohol runs out. Yeah, okay, so I've got everything ready for the mite check should I get a chance to do that. Don't want to do too much to the side. Got my ethanol ready, Hive 1, Hive 2, and Hive 3, and I set them one set off because while I'm working on this hive, I want to be able to reach over and grab the cups for the appropriate hive. If you notice, this hive just did not do well this year. I ended up taking the super off. I requeened it late. Ended up having some spotty brood that was just weak. But I do see pollen going in, which is a good sign. So obviously she's laying, but I'm not sure how happy they are. So I'm gonna go ahead and veil up, and let's get into hive number 1 and get these bees. Okay, so we got a good brood pattern here, so this is good to see. And one of the things the state asked me to do is count the number of brood frames, and I would say this hive is recovering. They're drawing wax, solid square brood frame, honey in the upper corners. Now it's just a matter of a quick glance all the way through to count the brood frames and look for the queen. And there's Mama. She's marked green. I'll just bring her up close so you can see her. There she is. Right there, looking good. So, like I normally do, I set the queen aside if I can get her without too much work, so I can continue this inspection a little bit more aggressively. Double check I got her in there, and yeah, she is in there. All right, so she's set off to the side. Now, just to grab some adult bees and to count the eggs. This hive is looking really, really good. So I think it's recovered. Just not gonna make much honey. So I've already, the flow is ending here. So yeah, this is a good frame. Make sure I've got you guys in view for my mite checks. Should be able to see me there. All right. I don't see many strips in this hive, which means I might be behind after I did this split. So when I reduced it down, I only got one old strip in here. So there's a chance this is going to be a little bit high on the mite count. And I've done some vapors. Here, I'm showing you just how I'm putting these bees in this cup for her. And that's plenty. All right, so hive number 1 has been euthanized for the study, and I just put the cap on it. Give it a little shake to make sure everybody gets a little bit of that ethanol on them. Set it to the side. So now to the mite check. I'm a little bit nervous here, especially doing mite checks on video live. I may be embarrassed from a mite count or whatever, but hey, we're all beekeepers and we all make mistakes. If my hive counts are low, I'm gonna handle it. But if you're out there and you haven't done mite checks, and this thing is leaking, these easy checks are great because they have a big cup, but they also leak a little bit better. They need a better gasket mechanism, but the swirl prevents them from leaking more than the shake. The shake does actually leak a little bit, but like I said, I'm out of alcohol anyway. I don't know if you can see it dripping even just from the swirl. And it's just because of this seal just isn't a great seal. Moment of truth. Who wants to look with me? What are we guessing? I'm gonna guess I have more than 10. I hope it's not an exponential number of more than 10. But if it is, I'm gonna put a strip in here either way because I see I only have one. But let's take a look. Oh my gosh, pleasantly surprised. Rock and roll. Holy smokes. 0. Well, maybe that's 1. Okay, hey, we are where we want to be. That is awesome. Wow, gosh. Gotta love these strips. I'm gonna add another one just because I'm here. It's at 0 or 1, which is an amazing mite check this time of year. Considering, now I did do an OA vapor not too long ago, but you know, I didn't do the sequence of OA vapors so that there were a whole bunch of sequences in order to get the phoretic mites that are underneath the cappings, or the non-phoretic mites that are under the cappings. My mistake there. So added another strip just to continue to keep the OA applied to the bees. Wow, I almost don't even believe that. I'm gonna check again. No, here's just that one. These are bee legs. Rock and roll. All right, I don't know if you can tell my enthusiasm, but when you get a 0 mite check count in your beehives, I don't care who you are, you should be excited because that means you're beating the odds with whatever you're doing. And I'm proud of that. Okay, so we're done with hive 1. That's it. I just gotta put it back in reverse order. Let's get mama back to work. She is in there moving around and a little shake. There she goes. I see her in there. I always put my eyes on her because, guys, I tell you what, I have had, especially virgins or young queens, when you do that shake, they will fly off sometimes. And if they're virgins, they may not know their way home yet. So you gotta be careful with that. So this hive is in good shape. It's not gonna make honey. And guys, do not forget to take notes. We are on June 1st today. So this is 6-1. I spotted a green queen, 1 mite. That's the note. And I did my, now on hive 2. All right, sit back and watch. All right, guys, I'm gonna bring you in without taking the camera off. This is what you need to see for making honey. Do you see that white wax from the top? They are capping that. I'm gonna show you one of the frames here in a second, but when you peek down in the top of a hive and see that white wax, this second super is almost done. Okay, I'm just gonna pop one of these out so you get a sense of what I mean. I'm not here to check honey supers today. That's for a couple weeks from now. I'm gonna just grab one out of the center. So not capped yet, but top's capped. So this is gonna be done here in a week or 2. And because the flow is starting to slow down, this one might not even get completely capped, but that is the way it is. and they're starting to buzz my hands a little bit. I'm not wearing gloves yet. We'll see if I end up having to put them on. But to get to my queen, I've got to take 3 supers off of this one. Oh my gosh. So you're gonna just have to watch and listen to me grunt a little bit. Look at all that white wax. I like to put this in my wax melter. They're buzzing me quite a bit. I'm probably gonna have to put gloves on for this guy. Because, I mean, I'm like the big bear taking their honey right now. This is defensive, this is natural. This one is completely capped, I think, so it's gonna make me grunt. And these are only mediums. And this is completely capped also. Woo! She didn't get me, but she bumped me. I'm getting reactive because I'm already knowing I'm gonna get stung. And when I get stung, I'll put the gloves on. So each of these medium supers is about 3 gallons if they're completely capped. Oh, nice healthy hive in there. I'm just gonna preemptively put my gloves on, guys. This is what it is. You know, I can just move faster with my gloves on. I'm already done with my intro, so you've seen my face. Okay, I'm back. I just backed out of the camera so I can remember when I'm editing the video of what to speed up or to cut out. It's just a video editing technique. I don't mind you guys watching me put my gloves on. It's just, that's the reason I did that. Very strong hive, 3 cap supers of honey, not surprising. I don't really need to worry about this hive like I did that one because I know it's strong. It's about just not getting the queen into the actual sample. So I just try to be a little bit methodical on what I do, pulling out the edge, making some room. All right, I'm gonna be quiet. Look what we found there. Swarm cell, uncapped. If I find the queen in here, I'm taking that. Oh, another one. That one is an uncapped one though. That one doesn't have anything in it. So this one has jelly in it. You know, this is too late to swarm. I don't want them to swarm. This frame is gonna be a split if I find the queen. Uncapped, you can usually get away with it. If it's capped, you might be too late. You might need to just take the queen and make your split now. Late to make a split. I mean, this is why hive inspections are important. Uh-oh, look at that. 2 more. Now, this is a lesson. Do you see how long these queen cells are? These are not good queen cells. These are too long. The larva dropped down. See how there's no larva up in there? The larva's in the bottom. These wouldn't make it anyway. See the larva in the bottom? The larva dropped out of the cup and those would not have survived. But that is 3 queen cells and there's a lot of royal jelly in there to save. So I'm gonna go ahead and scrape that off for my own royal jelly cup. Look at that royal jelly just oozing out. Wow, June 1st, swarm cells. I mean, they're packed, making lots of honey, but they shouldn't be swarming. I don't want them to swarm. There's too many bees in here to have swarmed. There she is. Okay, so Mama's still here. She's a red queen, last year's queen, doing a bang up job. But you know, you could argue she's being replaced, but I don't think she's being replaced because of where they were on the frame. I'm gonna try to, she's down in that crevice. She's trying to hide from me. Come on out, Mama. Come on up on that brood frame so I can get you in my clip. She knows what I'm trying to do. That's a 2-year-old queen. She's been here before. Come on, hop on out. Look at her, she won't come out. There you go. Now I can get you. Okay. Mama's in the clip. I'm gonna have to look for more swarm cells just because of the nature of that other one I found. It's almost like they know she's gone. If I had another honey super, I could put it on, but I don't have another honey super at the moment. Look at that, another dropped one. See that larva at the bottom? The larva's dropping out of these. That may be why they keep making more cells, is because they know these larvae are dropping down and will be unsuccessful. Larva dropping down is an interesting thing on naturally made cells. Normally that's with grafting or something like that. I'm not gonna even check that last frame. All right, moment of truth, here we go. Now let's do our study bees, there we go. Plenty of bees for her. Hive number 2 collected. All right. So what do we got in here? We got two strips in here, kind of getting old. I use my sieve sometimes just to scoop in the bees. It works pretty good. I can kind of gauge the number of bees in here. See if I can get this tight this time. All right, moment of truth. Here we go. Hey! 1, 2, 3 mites. I'm still really happy with that. Wow. Nice job, Chuck. All right, I went back to look for another frame, and I am all out of frames. That's another beekeeper problem when you keep making splits like this. I did find one of my drone comb frames. I've already got waxed up. So what I'm gonna end up doing is adding this drone comb frame to the end. But I did go get a little nucleus box for that cell to let them finish that one off. And since I know I got my queen isolated, and this is why I like to isolate the queen, guys, is I can do shakes into this box now because I don't have any fear of having the wrong, shaking the wrong bee in. So if there was a swarming impulse, I'm trying to remove it. So now putting this hive back together with a drone comb frame on the end, since I didn't have any other foundation frames. All right, and do it back in reverse order. There's Mama. There she is. She's going down. Always watch. Added a and that is Hive 2. Taking notes. 6-1, red queen, 3 mites. Nice job. All right, last hive for the inspection, quick inspection, but because I've had 2 mite checks that were very low, now I don't want to speak before too soon because obviously things can go downhill now, but I'm getting confidence on where my apiary is. If I get a relatively low mite check on this one also, I'm feeling good about my treatments. If I get a high mite count on this one, I'm like, the factor of randomness or bee strength or genetics or why this one might, oh God, those are heavy. Look at this honey. And Chuck lost his smoker. There it is. So once again here, I'm gonna scrape off the burr comb, set it to the side for my wax melter, my solar wax melter. I love these wooden queen excluders better. I like that little gap they provide. All right, first glance, not as many bees. Just glancing at it. All these hives had that sponge in there too, guys. I was talking about strips, but they also had that sponge in there. So that is honestly probably the difference here. This one had a sponge also. Okay, 2 passes through, no queen. Lots of eggs, lots of larvae. So I'm just gonna have to do a shake and look very, very closely in the bucket. You don't always find them. Maybe she's unmarked and I'm missing her. Maybe she's on the wall or in the bottom. So I'm just gonna do the shake. But now I just have to really look carefully inside my bucket. Okay, no queen in here, so we're just gonna go for it. Always a little bit nervous when I do this, but it is what it is. You can't always spot the queen, and it takes a lot of time to continually go back and forth, especially after 2 looks. But I'm confident she's not in here. But worst case scenario, there's eggs and larvae in there and they can start over. And we'll do our mite check on these ladies too. All right, moment of truth. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 mites is what I'm seeing. So progressively a few more, but we're still underneath the threshold of danger. So these are good mite checks. 4 mites with 300 bees is just fine. Didn't see the queen, so I don't have to put her back. So we're just gonna reassemble this hive, assuming she's in there. Always, of course, you can look on the edge of the box, make sure she's not on the side or anything like that. Add another strip for posterity, since I did it to the other ones. But I think this is what's doing the good job, is this Swedish sponge. It works best between 2 doubles, but actually that one deep didn't have a second double either. So I think that's working well. These are ventilated inner covers I use in the summertime. It's nice because you can pop the lid and take a peek down inside without really annoying the bees. Lets a little bit of airflow come in and out. I like them. I don't have screen bottom boards, so you could argue I'm doing the same thing, but from the top. I'm not putting that I saw the queen on here, but I am putting 4 mites. I don't put didn't see queen because that would imply she's not in there. I think she's in there, and I can even say eggs to reassure myself if I don't see that for several more weeks that I did it. Okay, I've got my 3 samples here. We've done hives 1, 2, and 3. I've got a couple more errands to do. We're gonna go over there. I'm gonna shut the camera down. And don't forget, we got that split I just made with that 1 frame. We gotta figure out what to do with. Stick with me. Guys, you're not even gonna believe this. I'm embarrassed to admit it, but I made a very rookie mistake. Guess why my mites went progressively higher from right to left? I didn't sieve out the mites in between each one. I just went and emptied them. So, believe it or not, those 4 mites are the total of all 3 hives. I forgot to do the sieve at the end of each one. So I've got to actually go back and figure out what I had there, because I didn't do the sieve step. And you guys probably watched me do that and said, look at that guy. Okay, so the first one's gonna be accurate, 1 mite. The next one said 3, so that one's actually gonna be 2 mites. And I brought 2 mites into this one, which said 4, which means this one actually only had 2 mites. So, anyway, self-admitting my mistake. I didn't sieve the mites out in between each one. You saw me just go dump the bees and then keep going. And I even wondered, why are they going progressively higher? Duh. Anyway, just wanted to admit my mistake, show you what I did, and recount the mites. Okay, the next quick thing we got to do is this hive right here is being bought by a customer this morning. I'm just going to do a quick check before I box it up. Make sure the queen is in here, take a picture of the queen. I always like to give a picture of the queen to the customer when they buy a hive, especially if I don't plan on opening it up in front of them. And sometimes when people come pick bees up in their car, I've already got it packaged up and ready to go in the car. And the queen, of course, is in there by herself. I don't want to pull that out. So we're just doing a quick, oh, and I found a queen already. All right, so there you go. Heather, if you see that, that's your little lady. If you don't watch the video, I will go ahead and take a picture of her for you. And just in case that one was blurry. Okay, so nice brood frame. And once again, ladies and gents, I isolate the queen so I can do a quick inspection without hurting her. She is the most important thing in that hive. Yep. Pattern, pattern. That was on the edge. Let's see what this middle frame looks like. All eggs and larvae. Eggs and larvae. Looking good. Food, pollen, brood. This is looking good. Okay, so this nuke is a strong 3-framer. It's the right size. It's not going to go ahead and swarm. It's not that strong, but it's got brood on every frame. It's got food and a laying, well-mated queen that is already marked. So she's going back in here. She's in the bottom, so I don't have to worry about her. I will go ahead and put that on there and let them kind of get adjusted. And now we have got to deal with this. Is the nuke that we just did the split on. So I'm in a situation where I don't have any other frames, but I need to make some more. I bought some more. I got some more frames for Man Lake. So I'm gonna have to make some today. I won't do that probably on film here, but I'm gonna do 6-1. I'm gonna put split, Quee-cell, uncapped. But that sucker is going to be capped probably tomorrow by the look of it. So I'm going to go ahead and say 6-2 for the cap, 6-6, 6-9 for the hatch, 14th for the mating, 18th of June she should be laying. That's how I keep my notes, folks. So that one looks good. So this needs 2 frames of brood and or food. So sometimes what I do is these 3-framers can get a little strong, and I just need to make sure they're not too strong. I have some 5-framers back here that have been bearding a lot during the day. So actually I probably need to remove some pressure off of these. So I'm gonna go ahead and remove some pressure off of this one probably. If I open this top up and it's just full of bees, that's kind of what I'm looking for. Exactly. Okay, so see this? If I don't have this marked for sale, I've got to reduce the pressure or this is going to swarm. And matter of fact, I wouldn't be surprised if we didn't find some swarm cells in here. I mean, we already saw them in that other hive. When you overpressure a hive too much, it doesn't matter what time of year it is, they will swarm just because of survival. They've got to get out of there. And I'm looking for my smoker again. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna tell you what I'm gonna do before I get in here, is I'm gonna find the queen, just because she's the most important thing in here. And in addition to that, find a nice capped brood frame, because that is what's gonna populate that split over there better than uncapped brood. I can let this hive continue to make uncapped brood all day long. Nice food frame, lots of bees. Looking for the queen. Don't see her, but I don't want to set this one on the edge without shaking, just in case she was on there. Making a mess. Smoker fell. Lots of bees. Capped and uncapped brood there. Middle frame, most likely frame she could be on. Hatching brood and eggs. So this is got both of what I want for a split, but I'd rather have more capped brood than that. Remember, I'm looking for my queen. There's too many bees in this nuke. Food frame. Yeah, she doesn't have any space to lay. If I had drawn comb, that would be perfect for this hive, just to keep her laying. But I'm gonna have to make some foundation frames up. Okay, this is a great frame. Food and capped brood. Still no sighting of the queen though. So I need to find her before I move this, because I do not want to put my queen in that 3-frame nuke. But I'm going to set this one aside on my hanger over here, on my long lang. Looking on the side in here just to see if I see her crawling around the box. It's kind of hard with the angle, but do the best I can. Here's a good peek for you inside this box. I'm looking for the queen in that. Lots of bees. Did you see her? She should be marked, but with this many bees, they could have replaced her. I didn't see any swarm cells. Ah, found her. You see her on that bottom wall? I don't know if you can see her. Anyway, I just saw her. She is in here. She was a marked green queen, which is good news. So I can put these back together. I've already picked my frame. She's in there, so I gotta gently put this back together, right? I don't want to squish her on the edge, so very methodically leave room for her to get around. All right, so this hive is going to get 1 frame of foundation after I make it up a little later. So that's another chore I've got to do today, is to make that frame. Okay. And when I reduce a hive like that, my symbology is to just say removed 1. 6-1. I did see the green queen, and I say remove 1 frame, just to kind of keep track of the pressure I'm removing. All right, back over here. This is the hive I took from that other hive we found that capped swarm cell in, and they are getting food and capped brood that is getting ready to hatch. They are getting a beetle trap, small one for a small nuke, and this will also get 1 frame of foundation that I'll make a little bit later today also. So I need 2 frames of foundation. This does not have a queen in it, but it's got a queen cell that should hatch here in a week or 2. All right, I think that's all I wanted to cover today. That was a little bit longer than I thought, but I took you through my bee collection for the University of Florida, a master's program study that we're doing. I'm helping someone with. We found a swarm cell that was uncapped, pulled it out, replaced that frame with a drone brood frame because I didn't have any other frames, and that box didn't have a drone brood frame yet. Took the split over here, relieved pressure off of one of my very strong nucleus colonies, put it in here, and this will get another frame of foundation. And we also inspected and found the queen on this 3-frame nuke that I'll be selling here in a few hours. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this content. This is just kind of a day in the apiary with Chuck. Not a specific lesson here other than just perhaps the techniques I use and talking you along with it. Hope you enjoyed it. Have a great day, everybody.